Every night, your brain shows you a movie nobody made. No director, no script, no crew, just you, lying completely still, while something in your head conjures up a world. Sometimes you're flying, sometimes you're back in your childhood bedroom. But the ceiling is a fish tank, and your third grade teacher is there. And somehow none of it feels weird. And then you wake up, and it's gone. You've been doing this every single night of your life, roughly 2 hours per night, about 700 hours a year, a month of your life, every year, spent inside a world your brain invented from scratch. Why? What is the point of any of it? For a long time, we thought we knew. Freud said dreams were messages from your unconscious, hidden desires, repressed memories, secret meaning. Then neuroscience arrived, and the hidden message theory collapsed almost entirely. So we moved on. Maybe dreams are memory consolidation. Maybe they're emotional processing. Maybe they're just random neural noise. And the story is your brain trying to make sense of static. Every theory felt almost right. None of them quite fit. And then, in 2021, a neuroscientist named Erik Hoel proposed something nobody had thought to say out loud. He said, dreams aren't messages. They aren't memories. They aren't noise. They're protection. The answer changes everything you think you know about why you sleep. Here's what your brain does every single day. It watches, it listens, it predicts. Every moment you're awake, your brain is building a model of the world. It learns which sounds mean danger. It learns which faces mean safety. It learns the layout of your kitchen, the weight of your coffee mug, the exact moment the traffic light turns green on your corner. It gets very, very good at predicting your life, and that's mostly a great thing. But here's what's fascinating. In the world of machine learning, when you train a computer model on the same data over and over, something goes wrong. The model gets too good at that specific data. It stops being able to handle anything new. Engineers call this overfitting. And honestly, what comes next is even stranger. Your brain faces the exact same risk. You go to work on the same route every morning. You interact with the same people. You solve the same kinds of problems. You live, to a remarkable degree, inside a loop. And your brain, brilliant, efficient, ruthless, starts to overfit on that loop. It starts building a model that is too good at your specific life, too tuned, too narrow, too locked in. An overfitted brain would still function in the world it knows, but it would struggle to adapt. It would miss patterns it hadn't seen before. It would fail in genuinely new situations. This isn't a theory. This is what actually happens. When the brain loses its flexibility, when it gets stuck in rigid loops it can't break out of. So how does your brain protect itself? In 2021, Erik Hoel, a neuroscientist then at Tufts University, published a paper in the journal Patterns. He called it the Overfitted Brain Hypothesis. The core idea is almost insultingly simple once you hear it. Your brain spends the day overfitting on reality. So at night, it deliberately injects noise, not random noise, weird noise. Specifically, experiences that are real enough to feel immersive, but strange enough to prevent overfitting. Dreams. Hoel pointed out something the ML engineers figured out decades ago. When a neural network starts to overfit, the most effective fix is a technique called dropout. You literally remove a random selection of neurons from the training process, on purpose, randomly. You force the network to learn in a broken, imperfect environment. And it makes the model stronger, not weaker, because now it can't memorize. It has to generalize. Now here's the part nobody talks about. Your dreaming brain is doing exactly this. Think about your dreams for a moment. They're off. The physics is wrong. The people are scrambled. Your childhood home has rooms that don't exist. The timeline jumps without warning. You've probably assumed the weirdness was a bug, but Hoel's hypothesis says the weirdness is the whole point. If your brain showed you perfectly realistic simulations of your daily life, it would just be more training on the same data, more overfitting. The weirdness is the dropout. Your brain needs to see experiences that break the rules, so that your model of reality stays flexible, so that you can handle the unexpected, so that you don't get locked into a single pattern, so that when genuinely new things happen in your waking life, your brain isn't caught flat-footed. And then we discovered something that changed everything. If dreams exist to prevent overfitting, they should be ancient, not a human quirk, not a side effect of our big, complicated brains. They should show up in every animal that learns. And they do. REM sleep, the phase where vivid dreaming happens, has been found in virtually every mammal ever studied. Dogs twitch in their sleep. Rats navigate familiar mazes while they're unconscious. Their hippocampal neurons fire in the same sequence as during the actual run. Platypuses, with some of the most primitive mammal brains we know, show REM patterns. Even birds show something that looks like REM sleep. This pattern is hundreds of millions of years old. It didn't evolve by accident. It evolved because animals that dreamed survived better. Because dreaming kept their brains from getting too rigid. Dreams are evolution's solution to a problem that Silicon Valley engineers didn't figure out until the 1980s. But that's only half the story. Here's the thing, Hoel's hypothesis also explains that the old theories never could. Why do dreams feel like something? Random neural noise doesn't feel like anything. A maintenance program running in the background doesn't scare you. But dreams have stakes. They have emotion, they pull you in. And that makes sense if the goal is effective training. A dream that doesn't feel real enough to engage your prediction systems isn't doing the job. The brain has to believe the simulation for the dropout to work on the right circuits, so it turns up the emotional volume. It makes you feel like you're actually falling, actually being chased, actually in front of a crowd with no idea what to say. Your prediction systems kick in. They try to model what happens next. They fail because the dream is weird on purpose. And in failing, they stretch. They become more flexible, more capable, more generalizable. Here is what you've been taught to think about dreams. They mean something. You should try to remember them, write them down, decode them, find the hidden message. But now you know what Hoel's hypothesis suggests. The weirdness isn't the message. The weirdness is the medicine. Your brain isn't trying to tell you something. Your brain is deliberately scrambling its own signal. Not because it's confused, but because scrambling is the only way to stay sharp. Dreams are anti-overfitting noise, injected on purpose, every night, running since the first mammals. You'll dream tonight. Your brain will build a world with wrong physics and impossible people, and situations that make no sense. And somewhere in that scramble, your prediction systems will flex and stretch. Not because you need a message, not because of anything Freud wrote, because millions of years ago, the animals that kept their brains loose outlasted the ones that didn't, and you inherited that. You dream because your brain is too good at your life, and it knows it. So every night it breaks itself open, just a little, to make sure it can handle whatever comes next. Dreams aren't your subconscious talking. They're your sanity loop, running quietly every single night for you.